Hi there. I wanted to talk about another book in my series, Books to Inspire You. I don't know whether this counts as inspirational or not. It's certainly interesting. It might maybe inspire you to possibly do the wrong thing rather than the right thing. It's a book from the 70s. A lot of the books I like are from the 1970s, and this is by my namesake, Luke Rhinehart. Anyway, the book is called The Diceman, and the title gives a little bit away. It's about a psychologist who's actually not very happy with his life and starts making decisions about what to do based on the roll of a dice. So he decides to just hand over his life to randomness, to pure chance, and just see what happens. And it's an interesting idea because sometimes when you flip a coin and go, will I do this, will I don't want, will I, you say if I get heads I'll do this, and then you get heads and suddenly you realise actually I don't really want to do that. So leaving it to chance can sometimes firm up your decision making. But what happened here is he just presents so many different choices and just do whatever came up. And the book explores what happens to him and then the beginnings of a cult based on this whole concept of just rolling the dice. And it sort of explores what happens when you allow pure chance and chaos to come into your life. It's very much of its time. It's very 70s, but really compelling. I could hardly put it down. I just wanted to keep reading it and reading it. It's a very long book, and I suppose it kind of maybe loses a little bit of momentum towards the end, but overall it's a very compelling book, very interesting concept, and very, very well written. I suppose if it was written today, the style would be somewhat different, but it's interesting just to look at it from the point of view of it being a book that's 50 years old anyway. But the concepts about the control of your life and decision making and what happens to you in your life are quite interesting. It can be said that so much of our lives are out of our control anyway, controlled by other people, controlled by society, by the system we live in. And you can just easily just wander through life in a daydream, really, and life will just happen. So you could make decisions, or you could just choose to let it all just randomly happen on a roll of a dice. A roll of a die, I should say, dice plural. So a sort of nihilistic way of looking at it would be, well, what difference does it make? Maybe I should, So there's a lot to unpack in this book. A lot of interesting ideas. So it all depends on what you want to read into it. You could just see it as a sort of salacious sort of quite sort of rude sort of story. There's like bits of sex in it and all that kind of thing, and it's quite sort of frantic and chaotic. But if you want to look at it on another level, it's sort of deeply immersed in psychology and what makes humans tick. So, you can read it on two different levels, really, depending on your own foibles, your own level of interest in these things. So, anyway, I think it's a very interesting book. And it is inspiring in that it does make you think about what life is about and how we go about deciding what we're going to do with our time here. So yeah, I think it's well worth reading. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed that, and if that sounds interesting, go check it out. It's been around a while, but it's still in print and still quite a good seller all these years later. So that's it for today. Thanks. Bye-bye.